Tuesday, 23rd of November 2010. For speed, I will read from Euronews, as it is a good source of information. South Korea has been attacked by North Korea, with over 200 shells being landed on a South Korean island. This is from Euronews. Incheon, South Korea. North Korea fired scores of artillery shells at South Korean island on Tuesday, killing two soldiers in one of the heaviest attacks on its neighbours since the Korean War ended in 1953. The South fired back and sent a fighter jet to the area, which is close to the disputed maritime border of the west of the divided peninsula and the scene of deadly clashes in the past. South Korea was conducting military drills in the area at the time, but said it had not been the one who fired first. The United States, which has 28,000 troops in South Korea, condemned the attack, but said it was too soon to discuss ways the US military might deter the reclusive communist state of North Korea from another strike. The incident followed revelations over the weekend that Pyongyang is fast developing another source of material to make atomic bombs, adding to its already ability to make fissile nuclear material. It will add uranium production to create fusion-powered nuclear bombs. An analyst said the North may again be pursuing a strategy of calculated provocations to wrest diplomatic and economic concessions from the international community. It also follows moves by North Korean leader Kim Jong-il to make his youngest but unproven son his apparent heir, leading some analysis to suggest the bombardment might in part have been an attempt to burnish the ruling family's image with the military. Houses and mountains are on fire and people are being evacuated. You can see very well because of the plumes of smoke, a witness said on the island told YTN television. YTN said at least 200 North Korean shells hit Yeonpyeong, which lies off the west coast of the divided peninsula near a disputed maritime border. Most landed on a military base there, a South Korean military base. Photographs from the island, 120 kilometres west of Seoul, showed smoke rising from buildings. 2 soldiers were killed and 17 wounded. 3 civilians were hurt. News of the attack rattled global markets, already unsettled by Ireland's debt woes and a shift to less risky assets. Experts say North Korea's Kim Jong-il has for decades played a carefully calibrated game of provocation to squeeze concessions from the international community and impress his own military. The risk is that his leadership transition has upset the balance and that events will soon kilter out of control. South Korean President Lee Myung-bak has pursued a hard line with North Korea since taking office nearly 3 years ago and said attacking civilians was unforgivable and any further aggression by Pyongyang would be severely punished. But he made no suggestion the South would retaliate further, suggesting Seoul was taking a measured response to prevent things getting out of hand. The North has a huge array of artillery pointed at Seoul that could decimate an urban area home to around 25 million people and cause major damage to its trillion-dollar economy. The two Koreas are technically at war. The Korean War ended only with a truce. The tension rose sharply earlier this year after Seoul accused the North of torpedoing one of its naval assets, killing 46 sailors. The North said its wealthy neighbour started the fight. Despite our repeated warnings, South Korea has fired dozens of shells from 1 p.m. and we've taken a strong military action immediately, its North Korea CNA news agency said in a brief statement. South Korea said it had been conducting military drills in the area beforehand and had fired west, not north. The White House said it was committed to defending the South, but the Pentagon said no steps were yet being taken to respond. Right now, it is too soon. This happened several hours ago, so I wouldn't say we're looking at anything in particular at this point, said Colonel Dave Lapan, a Pentagon spokesman, asked whether the military was eyeing ways to deter the North. The United States said it has about 28,000 troops in Korea. Their combined forces face estimated 1 million North Korean soldiers in one of the world's biggest standing armies. Stephen Bosworth, a US envoy to North Korea, who was in Beijing for talks, said all sides agreed restraint was needed. We both share a view that such conflict is very undesirable, and I expressed to them the desire to restraint be exercised on all sides, and I think we agree on that, he told reporters. China was careful to avoid taking sides, calling on both Koreas to do more to contribute to peace. At United Nations Security Council diplomats said discussions were underway over where and how to take up the issue. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov called the escalation in tensions a colossal danger. The won tumbles. News of the exchange of fire sent the won tumbling in offshore markets, with a 1 month won down about 4% at a stage in the NDF trading. US 10-year Treasury futures rose and the Japanese yen fell. In New York, major US stock markets indices fell about 1% shortly after the opening, as rising tensions on the Korean Peninsula added worries about global economic conditions. The US dollar was up 1% against a basket of currencies as investors saw the safety of the greenback. The South Korea Central Bank, after an emergency meeting, said it planned to cooperate with the government to take measures to stabilise markets if necessary. Many traders expected South Korea's financial markets to fall further while trading opens on Wednesday. But analysts said the attacks was not likely to escalate into a more serious confrontation, and so any market losses would be temporary. Past provocations by Pyongyang have only had fleeting negative effect on South Korean markets and economy. We believe the market correction at this time will be very short-lived, said Young Chan, analyst at UBS in Seoul. Over several decades, North Korea has created similar geopolitical tensions in order to redirect their national interests to defence, which we believe helps the regime maintain its power. North Korea's interest is to maintain the regime and not to invade South Korea, in our view. Washington branded the North a danger to the region and expressed concern Pyongyang would sell nuclear weapons technology to other states. It said it was all ready to return to negotiations with North Korea, but warns to see more commitment to denuclearization beforehand. It is unbelievable, said Zhu Feng, Professor of International Relations at Peking University. Today's news proves that North Korea, under unprovoked conditions, shot these South Korean islands. It's reckless provocation. They want to make a big bang and force negotiations back into their favour. It's the oldest trick. The North depends heavily on China for its economic and diplomatic support, and Kim Jong-il has visited China twice this year, in part to gain backing for the secession plans. These ties have become a very sore point with Washington after reports that North Korea appears to have a big step towards enriching uranium, possibly using technology that passed through or even originated in China. Right, so basically it boils down to that China is using North Korea as a proxy, and although China is not very happy with its proxy at the moment, and that is why we're in a Cold War with China and North Korea at this moment, and that was Asia's deadly triangle. Thank you for listening.